Okay, so let me start with one question. The question that I had that was really high on my list was, when did you decide that a job job was not for you? I've always been curious as when you decided that entrepreneurship, no more paycheck, steady every week. When did you decide?
That is an excellent question. And I think it was because I was making pennies as a social worker and I was doing so much and I enjoyed it, but I also realized there was a cap. So that I was only going to go so far in that company. And it was one of those things that when I was replaced with 3 people. And I'm like, oh, I didn't get those funds when I was there, right? So it was just this click of my potentials being limited. There's only so far I can go in this company. And I wanted to see what I could achieve at the top of my game with me being in control and no one capping me, right? So no one says, oh, well, this is as far as you can go in this industry. And I didn't have my master's. So I went for my undergraduate at Rutgers University for my psychology degree. But as a social worker, unless you had your master's, you were capped at a certain salary, which I thought, well, that's not really fair because I do 3 times as much as my cohorts. And I turned around a company. They had provisional licenses. We turned around 3 of the homes that we were in. And I'm like, shouldn't you get paid for your results and what you produce versus just this arbitrary, well, you should go and get your master's. And then I did the math and I realized, I would go and get my master's and I would have to take more than 10 years for it to actually pay off for the master's. I was like, well, that's also stupid. So there were all these dissatisfiers that were happening. And then I just felt, I went to a Tony Robbins seminar, which I call concerts because they're just high energy and you're jumping around when you're learning, you're really getting it to your core. And I'm like, I can help way more people if I start doing my own thing. And if I start coaching people who are motivated versus mandated, because as a social worker, you just get the clients that are in the system. Whereas as a coach, you get the clients that you attract as a marketer. So yeah, I think I was just about 30 years old. And that's when I literally sold everything in New Jersey. I took off to Hawaii to start the consulting business. And New Jersey to
Hawaii? New Jersey to Hawaii? Come on.
Literally from one side of the country to the other. Like you couldn't go any further and still be in the US. Like it was just the opposite, end over an ocean. And again, it was when we were in Hawaii, it was for the Tony Robbins conference and we're riding along with the top down on the car and it was this windy cliff. And it was like every time I took, and at the time I had one of those big camcorders, we didn't have these nice little phones. So every time I would take the camcorder down, I'm like, I'm just going to enjoy this. We would go around another turn and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I would whip out the camcorder, flip it open, turn it on, right? Get all that going. And I was just so in love with that place and it inspired me. And I thought, what is a crazier thing to do than move from one side of the country to the other? And people are like, did you know anyone? Did you have a job there? I'm like, nope, I didn't know a soul. I bought the house sight unseen. We didn't have the ways that we have MLS right now. So it was, my realtor went and took a VCR tape that I had to watch of the home. So the first time I actually saw the home that I bought was that next morning after we slept there the night before. And I was like, okay, I can do this. But yeah, I just decided that it was time to start on my own and see what my potential, where that was, and let my potential cap me versus external people capping me.